Hi, it's 10 to 7 on in the morning on the 12th of May 2019. It shows how disoriented I am. 2016, let's try that. I'm just in the process of doing my last check of crap left in my apartment. I've spent the last few days frantically clearing it out. It's amazing how much garbage we accumulate as we spend time in one place. I've had to really throw out so much material. I really feel guilty about it actually, because you know some of this stuff's quite good. There's food containers haven't been opened. I threw out. If I'd known people that would want the stuff, I would have given it to them. But you know, because I don't, I had to just basically get rid of it. So, but I've been pretty sleep deprived the last week or two because I've been just worrying about all the issues that need to be addressed. Not only just travel, which is a normal hassle in itself, but the added hassle of making sure that my apartment is prepared for a tenant, and of course the adding to that stress was I hadn't actually secured a tenant until yesterday afternoon, so that was some good news. Had a few glitches along the way as well. It hasn't exactly been smooth sailing getting this plane trip to Cairns organised. I actually had my flight cancelled. Normally that would be a huge hassle. People would piss most people off. In my case it doesn't, because I had to originally cancel the flight that I paid for because Jetstar in their wisdom decided not to actually bank the money that I transferred to them via electronic transfer. So I basically didn't get the booking I wanted, so I had to scramble and get another booking on the same day. And unfortunately, rather than my preferred time of 10:30 in the morning, that flight was 7:30. And on top of that, it wasn't just a domestic flight, it was actually going through an international terminal. So it means I'd have to go through all the hassles of security through international and line up to go through presumably a fast lane through immigration, because obviously I don't have to check my passport if I'm not leaving the country. So it was a big hassle, early start, real pain in the ass. So actually it was a bit of a godsend when I got that email saying that there'd been mechanical difficulties on the first plane that I actually booked, and they gave me some options for a new flight, and I just chose 10:30. So I got my 10:30 flight today, so that's good. Still absolutely stuffed. Still didn't get much sleep last night anyway. I don't think it makes much difference in that respect. And I've got to hit the ground running when I get to Cairns, because I've got an inspection of a property that I'm looking at leasing. I want to stay there for at least 6 months or so, and the only viable way to do it economically is to have a lease. So I'm going to become a tenant myself. So it's quite interesting. I'm a landlord and a tenant at the same time. So I'm actually going to be going to an inspection today at 4:30 in the afternoon. I should get in to the airport just before 2 o'clock and to where I'm staying at about 2:30. I'd like to hang around to see my host, and she's supposed to turn up at 3:30. I assume that she's probably a teacher given those hours. But she said that the key's in the door anyway, and that's typical Cairns. You know, it's a small town mentality. They just leave keys indoors. It's quite a nice change from the sort of being in the middle of a big city like Melbourne and all the usual garbage you get with that. You know, the security's been upgraded in this particular apartment and just recently, so now I can only get access to my level. It's about 7 levels in this building. It's not a particularly big building, but I can now only get access to the common areas and my own level on level 2, presumably for security purposes. But I think it might be a little over the top with a building that this particular size. But it's just the way things are here. You know, we've got to deal with body corporates making decisions without even consulting people. Just you know, it's not very democratic, but democracy doesn't seem to be a very high priority. So, you know, just not a happy chappy as far as that's concerned. I can tell you, there's a few things to gripe about, but I am going to Cairns. I'm very happy about that. I will relax as soon as I can secure a lease up there, because otherwise I'm going to be scrambling for accommodation using Airbnb or some other option up there. It's not a particularly busy time of year. I think it's actually must be July when it really becomes busy, because that's when the airfares go through the roof. And I had to pay double what I normally pay to actually come back to Melbourne after 2 months just for a short stay, and then head back up to North. So yeah, it's almost time to go. I've got a 10:30 flight. I think I'll leave here. I was planning around 8, but I might leave a little earlier. It could be a domestic flight. The counters don't even open until 2 hours prior to the actual flight, so there's no great rush. I mean, there will be a bit of traffic on the road at this time of the day, so I did actually take one flight in on the Sky bus from the city to the Melbourne airport, and it was teeming rain, and the trip took about almost an hour, or maybe a little less, but it was double what you'd normally take to get to the airport. It only takes about 25 minutes normally to get out there, so it's pretty fast generally. So today's not raining, it seems to be okay. It's cool, of course, so I have to rug up, and I'll be stripping off as soon as I get to Cairns. I think I might take my 72 because I'm just haven't had any sleep. I take one of them. It doesn't knock me about too much, but it might just give me enough of an edge so I can have a good snooze on the plane for the 3 hour, 20-minute duration of the flight. I can only hope. I think I've done everything. Everything's been cleaned out. It's amazing how you can just put your own stuff in nooks and crannies all over the place. But I think I've actually cleaned it out to a reasonable state for the tenant, so they've got a bit of a free rein with space. I've left a few things for them. I hope they don't mind that. They might find them useful. If they don't, it's pretty easy to throw stuff out here. Just go downstairs and there's a big dumpster always there, so it's not a major hassle. But yeah, I'm absolutely stuffed, but at least we're finally getting to the point where I get to walk out the door and towards the Sky bus and then on the plane. Wow.